This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Welcome back from Labor Day weekend. Yes, I am Josh Hennig, and we are back on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Hope everyone had a good, safe Labor Day weekend, whatever you were doing. Glad to have you guys back on the show tonight. We'll dig into the Eagles a little more as we are right in the heart of the starting of the NFL season. Chris Franklin covers the Eagles for NJ Advanced Media. He will join us in less than 20 minutes from now. Plus, we'll get you the latest news on the Phillies as they continue their series in San Diego. As always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. That is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Well, the Phillies won the game last night, but one of the people who was a part of that win last night will not be part of the game tonight. No, I do not have the Phillies lineup yet. I do have news about Trey Turner. What you need to know is that Trey Turner will not be playing for this foreseeable future. Trey Turner has been placed on the paternity list, and his spot will be taken on the 28-man roster by Weston Wilson. So I think it's safe to say that while Trey Turner's 15-game hitting streak will not be broken anytime soon, you will not be seeing him hit anytime soon. So that is definitely kind of changes the vibe of the Phillies moving forward, because Trey Turner was having not just an amazing month of August, but even into the month of September, he was the National League batter of the week, basically. He was a guy who was so good for the last week that he even got the whole league's attention, how well he was hitting. And Trey Turner is a huge part of the reason why this team is right now so far up as they are in the wild card standings. Because while the Phillies pitching staff carried them in the month of June, the Phillies offense very much carried them in the month of August. And it's more than the 59 home runs that I feel like everyone and their cousin loves to quote that stat. It's getting nauseating. It's the fact that Trey Turner became Trey Turner again. He was hitting .324 for the month of August. And as Mike Gill mentioned on the Sports Bash earlier, Trey Turner is on pace to have a potentially all-time year in terms of home runs. He already has 22 on the year. So you're talking about a guy who has not just found himself again, he is right now on pace to set an all-time career record for single-season home runs. For those who might be wondering, it was 28 back in just 2021. So, and again, Mike Gill was the first person I've heard bring this up. You think about what Trey Turner is doing right now as a hitter. He has become arguably one of the most invaluable players on this team. And now you're going to be without him for a few days. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Phillies adjust to this, because Trey Turner has enabled guys like Kyle Schwarber to be more impactful hitters. He has enabled other guys in the lineup to not feel as much pressure. They even talked about it on different broadcasts, Peacock on Sunday, Fox on Saturday night, how Trey Turner's hitting has enabled Kyle Schwarber to be a more impactful hitter. And while I know that in the literal sense, Kyle Schwarber going from 180 to 193 is not earth-shattering, it's the fact that Kyle Schwarber now is become a more viable threat where he is in the lineup because Trey Turner is hitting behind him. And because Trey Turner hits .324 for the month of August, Kyle Schwarber can go out there and have 10 homers, 20 RBI in the month of August. It's because Trey Turner is hitting behind Kyle Schwarber that you go over the last few weeks and you realize that Kyle Schwarber's home run hitting is arguably directly tied to Trey Turner. Those 13 home runs that Kyle Schwarber has hit since August 6th, you don't think that's because Trey Turner's hitting behind him? And Philly fans can still complain all they want. Why is Kyle Schwarber hitting leadoff? Well, Kyle Schwarber's hitting leadoff because the team is winning and they're hitting home runs, and Trey Turner is comfortable in the 2. And frankly, I'd rather have Kyle Schwarber being the guy who cleans up when Marsh and Rojas and those guys get on base than some other people. There is value in the fact that a baseball lineup is only a leadoff hitter after the first inning. It's about where you hit the rest of the game. And Trey Turner has greatly impacted this lineup. And listen, while everyone loves Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper is hitting like a megastar in recent weeks, it's because of Trey Turner. So how do the Phillies now handle this team and this lineup going forward without Trey Turner? That is going to be something I am very curious to see play out. And as soon as the Phillies lineup, we will give it to you if it comes out during Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. You look at the Phillies lineup moving forward, assuming Trey Turner at least misses, I'm going to go under the assumption that Trey Turner is out until at least Friday. Because if he's flying back to the East Coast for the birth of his child, and the Phillies are coming home for a series against the Marlins Friday through Sunday, I'm going to assume the next 2 days, against the Padres in San Diego, no Trey Turner. So what do the Phillies do with the lineup? Do you kick Bohm back into the 2? Do you put Castellanos in the 2? Does Harper stay in the 3 spot? Personally, I would go Schwarber, Bohm, Harper, Castellanos, and then go Stott, Realmuto, but that's me. I don't run the Philadelphia Phillies lineup. I'm not their manager. I don't work in their front office. So it's just one man's opinion. So we'll see what they do with the lineup here. Also, no Trey Turner means that you're losing a right-handed bat out of the lineup. So are we assuming that Sosa is going to be the shortstop moving forward? I know they're calling up Weston Wilson, but how much playing time does Weston Wilson get when he comes up here? Is it a scenario where Schwarber's DH, Weston Wilson goes to left field, Sosa plays shortstop? Maybe. Then who's your first baseman? I'm assuming it would be Harper when Schwarber's the DH. And if Harper is the DH, then Schwarber goes to left field, and I'm guessing Jake Cave plays first base. By the way, the Phillies still have not given an explanation for why J.J. Realmuto has not played first base the entire year, basically. Remember the whole conversation a couple of years ago was, well, eventually Realmuto could play some first base, take some pressure off of his knees. Well, it feels like the Phillies going in the opposite direction this year. So with Michael Lorenzen pitching tonight, Zach Wheeler pitching on Wednesday, we're going to find out very quickly about what the Phillies do with this lineup. And for those who are wondering who's pitching for the Padres, Pedro Avila is your man tonight. You might not know who Pedro Avila is. He's a right-handed pitcher. So a right-hander tonight, Michael Wacha tomorrow afternoon. So 2 right-handers next 2 days. So at least for 2 starts, you're not too worried about the lefty matchup situation when it comes to a starting pitcher. But it's still going to be interesting how this lineup looks and how does the Phillies lineup react without Trey Turner. Again, he's arguably the second best hitter on your team over the last several weeks. Does the lineup adjust? Does the lineup struggle without him? Does Schwarber struggle without him? Does somebody else in the lineup getting moved, does that impact their hitting? You know, I told you my lineup would be Schwarber, Bohm, Harper, Castellanos, Stott, Real Muto, Marsh, Sosa, and then whoever the ninth hitter is, whether it's Cave or Rojas or Wilson in the lineup. Well, do any of those guys getting moved, does that impact them at all? We looked up earlier on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you back here on Game Night. We talked about earlier in the show about Alec Boehm is top 10 in the National League in batting average with runners in scoring position. Does Boehm get impacted at all moving? It has seemed like this year that his ability to hit runners in has not been impacted, but does that change with Turner being out? So these are all questions that I have going into the next two games, and we'll let you know when the Phillies lineup comes out. Again, it's not come out just yet from what I'm seeing. So if it comes out before the end of the hour, we will let you know about it here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. Flipping over to the Eagles, we are getting ready for the start of the Eagles season. And, we spent a lot of time last week talking about how the roster was coming together. I got to switch from Phillies mode to Eagles mode. Hold my beer. I got to mess that up a couple times there. But when you look at the Eagles, my biggest question coming into the season, and we mentioned this a little bit with the roster last week, and I'll bring it up again, and we'll ask Chris Franklin about it coming up in 7 minutes from now. Chris Franklin, who covers the Eagles for NJ Advanced Media. I want to know, as we look ahead into the Eagles season, how does this team adjust from week to week with some of the new players that they have? We take for granted that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year with a team that was a beautiful blend of youth and veterans. Well, you lost some of those veterans this offseason. You lost guys like TJ Edwards, Javon Hargrave, Isaac Seumalo, and you can even throw Miles Sanders in there as well. You could throw in there CJ Garner-Johnson, who was one of the best safeties in football last year. Reliable Marcus Epps, right? He wasn't the greatest safety in the world, but he was reliable. He always was out there. I don't think it's going to be a perfectly smooth transition from what you saw last year this year. And I'm curious to see, how does this team adjust? I want to know, what does Sean Desai do when the best laid plans don't work out? When the best laid plans lays out the fact that you got to make adjustments. There's no way any of these guys are going to be immediately day one the best versions of themselves after not playing for an entire month of August. This is literally the first time you guys are on the field. And you saw this weekend in college football. If you were watching college football, I was. But if you were listening here on 97.3 ESPN, when we had TCU upset by Colorado, and when you heard Notre Dame versus Middle Tennessee and Penn State beat down on West Virginia, and then LSU get upset by Florida State on Sunday, and then Clemson get beat down by Duke last night. All those games here on 97.3 ESPN, your home for Eagles football, as well as college football, primetime NFL games, the Sixers and Flyers here in South Jersey. You heard how it was impacted by those games not having preseason games. The first time that you saw those teams on the field, they had issues. So I'm not going to act like the Eagles are going to be perfect day one. We'll ask Chris Franklin about, what does it mean to him if the Eagles have to adjust on the fly these first couple weeks under Sean Desai. Game Night being brought to you by Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. If your air conditioning isn't keeping you cool, or if you're worried about sky-high electric bills, I recommend you call Jenkins Plumbing Heating today about a new system from American Standard Heating or Air Conditioning, or a Mitsubishi ductless system. Take advantage of financing up to $15,000 from South Jersey Gas or Atlantic City Electric. A new AC system can save you 25 to 35% on your electric bill. Call Jenkins at 609-641-6440 and online at jenkinsandsons.com.
The 2023 Eagles season is here, and this is your radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. It's week 1 as the Eagles head to New England this Sunday to take on the Patriots.
And then he's sacked! Brandon Graham!
Eagles radio network coverage begins at 3 p.m. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 4:25. This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagle Station.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal. Get a $50 gift card, good for Yori's Waterfront Restaurant in Wildwood, New Jersey for just $25. That's right, grab a $50 gift card for just $25. Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, this deal will sell quickly. For more information on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com. That's seizethedeal.com.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Okay, class, our first lesson is math. 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals...
One heck of a great deal.
The math is simple at Matt Blatt Kia. Put 0 down, pay 0 interest, and make 0 payments for 90 days on every new Kia in stock. Or get up to $8,000 off MSRP on every 2023 EV6 GT in stock. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia can get you roll leased so you can drive your new Matt Blatt Kia with 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 90 days. And we finance your future, not your past. Even first-time buyers can drive with peace of mind with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through Cap 1. Excludes EVs. 36 months at $27.77 per thousand. To Tier 1 customers. Expires 9/5/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need presentations and business reports printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets for my business.
Your presentations and booklets will be in captivating color, beautifully bound, and will be done right every time. That's our Print Big promise. And right now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing on orders of $40 or more. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 9/30. Exclusions and restrictions apply. See associate or visit staples.com/print for details.
Your palace awaits. Caesars Palace Online Casino is now live. Download today and register using code RADIOLAUNCH. New users get a $10 sign-up bonus, a 100% deposit match up to $1,000, and 2,500 reward credits after wagering $25. Must be 21 and physically present in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia. Minimum wagering within 7 days required to unlock bonuses. Full terms and wagering requirements at CaesarsPalaceOnline.com/promos. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In West Virginia, all games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Cape Regional Health System, a healthier life starts with compassionate urology care for men and women. Cape Regional Health System offers highly advanced care for conditions that affect the urinary tract, kidneys, bladder, pelvic floor, and prostate. Cape Regional Health System's team of board-certified and fellowship-trained urology and urogynecology specialists will work with you to develop an individualized treatment plan. Get the care you need by calling 609-463-CAPE. Visit caperegionalhealth.com/urology for more information. Cape Regional Health System for a healthier life.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You use the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
WellCare of New Jersey is now Fidelis Care. We're the health plan you know with a new name and look. Call 1-TTY-711 or visit fideliscarenj.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Deeper into the Eagles now with Chris Franklin, covers the Eagles for NJ Advanced Media, NJ.com, SC Franklin News on Twitter. Enjoy this all on the Elite Acura hotline. Visit Elite Acura during the Summer Performance event located on Route 73 North in Maple Shade. Online at EliteAcura.com. Eagles versus Patriots this Sunday here on Merrill Race with Mike Quick on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN. And before we get there, Chris Franklin will join us to talk about the Eagles now. Chris, welcome back from Labor Day weekend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We're finally here, man. We're here at week one. We're here for a regular season, meaningful games. I'm excited, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And I think that what's interesting is that you mentioned, it's finally here. And here's what I want to start with you. Because watching a lot of college football, it brought this question to mind. You saw all the teams come into these games with expectations, and you saw Duke crush Clemson last night. Florida State basically completely outplay LSU on Sunday night. Colorado win a shootout with TCU. Almost no one expected that to happen. So is there any concern that the Eagles, who basically haven't played a real football game at all, might have some issues coming into this first game on Sunday?
I think when you look at the first quarter especially, because they have not only do you have the Tom Brady celebration that's going to be going on, and everybody's going to be hyping back in the stadium, but also haven't played, the starters haven't played a full game, and especially with this offense, you haven't seen a lot of starters on the field to get really those game speed reps. And I think it could be an issue, I think, maybe the first drive or two. Only know they can start doing, I wouldn't be surprised if they started doing a couple of rhythm type passes to get Hurts ready to go, like slants, 5% of his throws to really start feel for it, and then you start opening up the offense a little more. But yeah, I mean, especially starting out, I always think the season opener for any team is always tough because you have all those plays that you don't know what the team's going to do. You had all summer to basically scouting, and also from the first week and that last week of the season, when there's a team that's completely out of it that can surprise you when you're trying to get into the playoffs. Those are the two toughest weeks. And with this Patriots team, yeah, it could be tough early on.
Sean Desai, first year as a DC in Philadelphia. He's got to put a defense on the field without Javon Hargrave, without TJ Edwards, without Kazir White, without TJ Gardner. So what is a realistic expectation for this defense week one with all these new starters and with a new DC?
I think given what you see on the other side with the Patriots, I think the main thing that they have to do, I think they can survive when it comes to the passing game. I still think they'll be able to get pressure. Even without Javon Hargrave, I think you'll get a good mixture, especially Jalen Carter when he's in there or, say, on passing situations. I think they'll still be able to get pressure. If anything, I'm worried about the run game because you're not as big as you used to be at the linebacker spot. You do have those big defensive tackles in the middle, but if they're not effective and not clearing out lanes to allow Nakobe Dean, Zach Cunningham, Christian Ellis, whoever's at linebacker, if they're not able to flow quickly and diagnose the play, it could be a long afternoon because we all know how much Ezekiel Elliott seems to give this team fits. Mondre Stevenson is another good back as well, too. So they have two backs that can use a power game to try to basically wear down this defense. And if that happens, you keep it on the offensive side, and it can just be a domino effect. So I think this defense can definitely stop the pass. The biggest question I have is when it comes to stopping the run.
Is there a particular player on that defense that you're going to keep a closer eye on than the rest?
Oh, Jordan Davis. I think when I look at him, I mean, it'd probably be for me to say like one of the safeties, especially since they're so young back there. But Jordan Davis is going to be the one-man king in the middle. I mean, we talked about the run game. You need him to take two of those offensive linemen and to occupy them, to let all the other guys work, especially get the one-on-ones on the outside. And if he plays like he did early last year, where he was impactful in the run game, he was getting that push, he was and clogging the holes up and forcing the running backs to go outside and try to find room, I think he'll be fine. If he's taken on by, say, just one guard, well, or even just a center, and he's moved backwards and you start seeing 4, 5, 6 yards a pop, then I think you've got some big questions you worry about. Maybe your stomach's bubbling a little bit afterwards, like, oh no, what's going to happen here?
Chris Franklin covers the Eagles for NJ Advanced Media and NJ.com, joining us here on the Elite Acura Hotline here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you guys on a Tuesday night. Chris, one more on the defense I want to ask you about, because, you know, one of the biggest questions for me for the month of August was safety. And, you know, I know we have theories about who's playing at safety this Sunday, but is there a possibility that they literally just decide to play everyone safety this Sunday?
You see all four of them. I love the way the depth chart came out today. It was like, oh, Reed Blankenship starter. Oh yeah, by that we know. And the weird thing was that Sidney Brown, I thought it was the right move that Sidney Brown was his backup. Then goes, oh yeah, either Terrell Evans or Justin Evans. One of these guys are going to play, maybe both. Who knows? Yeah. So I think it's a very good shot. I mean, when you look at big nickel possibilities, when they take out a linebacker and had a safety there to try to match up against a tight end, which wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots use a lot of 2 tight end sets to try to slow down, and given their issues with wide receiver as well too. I wouldn't be surprised you see a lot of that stuff. And if they do that, you may see a lot of Evans. You may see a lot of Terrell Evans on the field along with Blankenship, and who knows, maybe Sidney Brown gets some run on that in that aspect as well too. So it's a very, very possibility. Who's going to be on the field? I wouldn't be surprised if it's Edmonds and Blankenship. They've done it all through OTAs. They've done it all through the beginning of training camp as well too. And then they started mixing some other guys in, get some looks. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Blankenship, Edmonds to start out with, a lot of Evans and some Brown too.
Not a fan of that. No, I'm just gotta be honest, Chris. Like, I just feel there's too much redundancy between Edmonds and Blankenship. I want my safeties to have some sort of difference between them. One of the things that made Malcolm Jenkins so good wasn't just because he was good. It's because he was so different than everyone else you could put back there at safety next to him. Like, you could put anyone back there at safety and you knew, well, that guy's going to bring something different to the table because Malcolm Jenkins brings something completely different than everybody else to the table. Same thing with Brian Dawkins. Like, you never worried about who those guys play next to you because you knew, well, you can't find nobody like that guy. Whereas I look at Blankenship and Edmonds, I'm like, aren't they kind of similar?
Well, your unicorn right now is when it comes to Brown, but he's still green when it comes to that stuff. I mean, I feel like safety is the toughest spot. If you're a rookie I'd probably say safety and quarterback are 2 of the toughest spots, no matter what, if you're a rookie playing NFL today. And I think they don't want to, get his confidence down, like to say, like, hey, if he gets burnt a couple of times, it's like, oh no, here we go. And then he can go down and spiral, what have you. I think it's just a matter of just, hey, you know what, work them into a little bit, because I'd rather them be a little slow in like the first 3 or 4 games and trying to get his feet wet, get him more acclimated, and then give him more responsibility. And then you have your, Bob Sanders type guy back there that can do a little bit of everything. But right now, I get what you're saying, Andrew, but right now it's going to be a little looking like the Spider-Man meme. We're going to put the safeties pointing at each other, baby.
Chris, let's flip over to offense, because the conversation that we had a month ago, back on like August 5th, we all were having is about right guard. And it felt like that conversation completely disappeared. And I want to bring it up again because I don't think we ever really answered it. I don't know if we will even answer it in this conversation we're having now, but what's going on with Juergens? Because this guy has never started at right guard, as far as I know, in his life. And now you're going to say week 1 of the NFL and a Bill Belichick defense is across the line from him.
Yeah, I think they're lucky they got the Patriots, I think, earlier on when it comes to that. I mean, maybe they use a few more stuff to try to confuse him. And it doesn't help that he has 1 snap at right guard to his name. I mean, PFF had, looking at stats a couple days ago, he's at 1 right guard snap to his name in his whole entire career. So I think right now when you look at that, it's a little concerning. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to, if he's heavily helped by Kelsey a little bit. Maybe he tries, as soon as you do that, you maybe give Kelsey a little bit of assignment that he shades over to the right just to help him out. I don't think there's any problem in terms of his athleticism. I think the strength is okay, is good enough to do that. I don't think this is the game though where he's tested. I think the game he's going to really be tested is week 3 when they're looking at Vita Vea and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he's facing that guy. I would be surprised guys like that. Like I think 3, 4, and 5 where he has to face Vita Vea. He faces Jonathan. He could face Jonathan Allen and then Aaron Donald. Those are the ones where you're looking like, okay, do we try to put Steen a little bit, and then they ask, okay, do we keep with Jurgens? I think he's going to be all right, especially maybe get him out in space in the spring game, something like that. But yeah, it's a big question coming in. But yeah, I think this, at least for this game, everything should be fine with him.
When you think about the offensive line in general, I've asked the question, what do the Eagles do if, God forbid, something happens to Jason Kelsey? We know Stoutland does not like to move a ton of moving pieces, right? So like if Kelsey had to miss a game, right, or he had to miss 2 games, or if he misses a half for a cramp, like a really bad cramp or something, whatever it may be, I mean, are we really kicking Jurgens back in at center?
Yeah, that's their best option as of right now, and it's scary because when you look at all the other options on the roster, I mean, if it was in the middle of a game, like say it was in the middle of this week 1, you don't have Brett Toth. I mean, even then, if he did, it's like, I don't know, after seeing what he did in the training camp with the Sam's going there, like, okay, nah, not do that. I mean, Tyree, the former Giants lineman, saying Tyree, his name's escaping me right now. Maybe get him to play it, but again, he's a practice squad guy. You can't elevate him. So yeah, Jurgens is he's your best option at center, and you're going to have to do a 2-for-1 move. And then Dean is probably most likely to be Steen or Jack Driscoll. I mean, you're most likely to get those shots to go in there and right guard. And if I was them, I'd probably put Driscoll in there just because I think he's more experienced in there. But you're looking at the possibility of having a really young center with a very green right guard, a guy who's trying to learn a position playing next to each other. So the best situation for the Eagles to hope nothing happens to either Jason Kelsey or either Cam Jurgens, because if not, they've got some serious questions to look at center.
Let's spin it the other direction. Some positives here, Chris. Jalen Hurts, his second year with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Is there a chance that we see this offense better than it was last year?
I think there's a chance you see 2 100 reception guys, and maybe you have Goddard flirting with another with it. I think they're that talented because there's so many ways that this team can attack you. They can go deep. You can go deep on either side of the ball. Both of them were doing very well in the camp when it came to contested catches along the sideline. It's tough to use it. They know how to use their body, contort themselves, and put themselves in position to make plays. If you're worried about splitting them outside, you got Dallas Goedert running in the middle, and you actually have legitimate threats to catch the ball at the backfield now with DeAndre Swift, with Kenneth Gainwell as well too. This team can attack you at all 3 levels, and it's really tough to stop them. So, and to make matters worse, if you're from a defensive coordinator standpoint, you used to think okay, well, we can just mush rush Jalen Hurts and just make him try to beat you in the pocket. Well, he's shown that he can do that as well too now, and is comfortable enough to step up in there, throw, and get a good ball on to his receiver. So, yeah, I think it's very, very thin. I think the Eagles finished third. Also, I think they can finish in probably top 1 or 2 in offense. Probably, I think the Chiefs are going to be number 1, maybe the Dolphins number 2. But yeah, they're going to be among the top offenses in the NFL this year.
So if they're one of the top offenses, what does that mean in your opinion? Does that mean this team is win-wise the same as last year, better than last year, worse than last year? Because on paper, there's a big debate, Chris, about is this team as good or better or worse than last year's team?
I think record-wise, I think when you look at the roster, it's going to be one of those weird inverses where you look at the roster, you're like, wow, it really is better than it was last year. But that stretch in the second half defense, I think they finished with 12 wins. I really do. And for them, that's going to be either a 1-2 seed, which still is bad. They need that. Personally, I think they need that 1 seed because I like the prospects of coming off of a divisional divisional round and having it home instead of having to fly all the way over cross country. And San Fran, who, has revenge on their mind for what happened in the last year's NFC title game too. So I think that when all is said and done, you'll look at the offense, you'll see the numbers, and go, wow, that's even better than last year. I think you look at the numbers, I think Hurts, I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 4,700 total yards, either with passing and rushing as well too. Maybe a few more. Does he win an MVP? I think he's got a good shot. Maybe Mahomes is coming back, but when you see the yards, you see all the totals, like, wow, it's good. But then you look at like they only got 12 wins with this. What happens? Just a product of the schedule they're going to be facing this year.
Chris, you mentioned the running backs earlier. If I can revert back to that, because I don't know who's going to start at running back, but I don't think it matters because you mentioned they got more weapons now out of the backfield because Swift can catch the ball, because Penny is, when he's healthy, is such a valuable weapon as a running back, and because Gainwell is no longer just some rookie random guy who is getting reps with Miles Sanders. He's kind of matured into a role as well. You look at those three running backs and you could argue that those three running backs combined are probably going to be better than, I don't know, probably at least 2/3 of the backs in the league.
Yeah, in honor of Nick Sirianni mentioning Doc Rivers today's press conference, I think that's the best way you do it. You use almost like a basketball team. You make sure all your guys, your top three, get touches, and you just want to make sure they get a good feel of the game. And then when you look at, say, around halftime, you look like, oh, wow, this person's really going well with whatever scheme they're trying to use to beat the opponent they're with that week, and then you just ride them on to the end of the game. I think this is one of those things you gotta cycle all through guys, and you can't forget Boston Scott too, and not just against the Giants, but with all these other teams too, because I like the way he runs north-south, and he can be a good change of pace backs if there's things going on that stopping Gainwell and Swift and Penny. Maybe you throw Scott in, and he's proven for a couple of years now he's able to do that too. So you probably would see all four. If you're a fantasy team owner of any of these running backs, I wouldn't be feeling great right now when you look at that. But they'll definitely will cycle through all those guys, and they'll all get their touches and get their time, and they'll just go with whoever's hot at the end.
Come on, Chris. We all know that because Boston Scott's the highest paid running back on this team, he's going to have a role.
Speaking of gambling, like, who would have thought that? Like, if you asked me 2 years from now, who's going to be the highest paid player on this team? Like, Boston Scott. No, can't happen. But yeah, lo and behold, here we are right now. And hey, your kick returner and running back, maybe the kick returner aspect gets them over that threshold. But yeah, it's crazy to think about that.
You brought up kick return. I'll wrap up with you with that. Who on earth is the kick and punt returner? Because it feels like half the kick and punt returners are on the practice squad.
Well, going off the depth chart they released today, you got Scott being your kick returner, which I have no problem with because he really came on late in the half of the season. As of right now, barring any elevations that we may learn of on Friday, maybe Saturday, it's like maybe Zacchaeus is going to be your punt returner with Quez Watkins backing him up. And Zacchaeus, last time he returned a punt was in 2021. Like in a regular season game, he had three. In regular season, I think he had 3 returns, and one of them was like 17 yards, which isn't bad at all. It's one of the things where you just make sure that he needs to be sure-handed and maybe get about like 7 or 8. The one thing that's been missing with the punt return game in the last few years is that you've gotten the guys to be solidly field the ball. It's a matter of trying to make some plays afterwards. And Zacchaeus can give you a couple 9, 10 yards, maybe at that, which you'll take gladly because you see some of these other returns have been back there years. And even Britton Covey, he started coming on a little bit late last year too. And you just want to see some spark when it comes to that element of the return game, because it's been lacking for so long, and so it got predictable where it's like, well, punt's coming up, we know it's not going to really go anywhere. Okay, time to go grab a snack, whatever have you. You need that spark, you need that big playability with this offense.
He's Chris Franklin. Follow him on Twitter at @CFranklinNews. For all your Eagles coverage, go to NJ.com. NJ Advanced Media Eagles beat writer is Chris Franklin. He joined us today on the Elite Acura Hotline. Chris, we actually don't have to talk about cut downs, preseason games, Tanner McKee. Like we can put almost all that stuff to bed now, and we can actually talk some real football moving forward.
I mean, it was rough watching Ben Van Sumeren become an overnight sensation with his 16, 17 tackles in the air. But you know what? Yeah, I think I like this ball, but a little bit better.
Chris, always appreciate you jumping on, my man. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man.
We'll get into more Eagles coming up next. 609-403-0973. That is the text board. Also, your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night, and the Phillies lineup just came out. We'll get you that coming up next on 973 ESPN.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, ready to kick off the new NFL season. It's Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs, hosting Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Join us along with Rich Eisen from the studio as we get the new season underway. Coming up on NFL Kickoff.
Listen to Thursday Night Football on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30.
Don't miss the Atlantic City In-Water Boat Show. 4 days only. September 7th to the 10th at the Golden Nugget Marina. Free self-parking, live entertainment. Kids under 12 are free. Buy advanced discount tickets at acinwaterboatshow.com.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Hi, I'm Brighton Richards from Apex East Roofing. You know, the blonde-haired girl in the pink truck. Fall is a great time to get a new roof so you're ready for the winter season. Go to apexeastroofing.com to get a quote in 30 seconds. And with our price match guarantee, we'll match any quote of an equal roofing system and give you an Owens Corning Preferred 50-year warranty. Ask us about our financing options as well.
Get a price on your roof in 30 seconds at apexeastroofing.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
If there was an easy way for you to look fabulous right now, wouldn't you want to know about it? Well, then you're in luck, thanks to the Look Fabulous Now lift from Dr. Lyle M. Back Cosmetic Surgery Center of Cherry Hill. The Look Fabulous Now lift is an outpatient procedure that can rejuvenate, renew, restore, and refresh your face, jawline, and neck in as little as 2 hours. Patients feel renewed and refreshed, looking and feeling years younger in a natural way. Start your new year off right. Call 856-MAKEOVER or visit ilovelylback.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Attention, Cumberland County businesses. Do you need new employees? Do you want to showcase your business to the public? Do you want to engage in valuable B2B networking? Then you need to join forces with the business community on Thursday, September 21st at the Cumberland County Business Expo and Job Fair. This event will be held from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Cumberland County Technical Education Center in Vineland. Build sales, recognition, relationships, and your workforce. Thousands of people expected to attend. Sign up as an exhibitor or sponsor by September 14th to take advantage of this opportunity. Visit CumberlandExpo.com. This event is hosted by the Bridgeton, Millville, and Vineland Chambers of Commerce, working together for a stronger Cumberland County economy. Co-sponsors of this event are PSEG Nuclear and Town Square Media. Showcase your business at the Cumberland County Business Expo. Register by September 14th for a lower fee at CumberlandExpo.com. The expo takes place at the Cumberland County Technical Education Center in Vineland on September 21st from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Any trade, any trade, any trade. Bring any trade to Matt Blatt Nissan because AJ the Trade Man is in need of more trades. Used car values have been all over the map, but AJ has one mission: give you the best trade value and get you into a new Matt Blatt Nissan with 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 0% financing on every new Matt Blatt Nissan.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, AJ the Trade Man wants your trade. Plus, with your job clearing $350 per week, you're practically approved with 0 down and 0 interest on every new Nissan in stock. For 36 months, all backed by Matt Blatt's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Only at MattBlattNissan.com. On approved Tier 1 credit through DMAC, negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle, plus tax tag at $589 doc fee. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 9/7/2023. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Phillies lineup is out. Brought to you by Clark's Moving and Storage, located on Railroad Avenue in Rio Grande. For your next move, call Clark's Moving and Storage. The Phillies lineup is out, and I do not like it. Schwarber is the leadoff hitter. Castellanos is 2. Harper 3. Bohm 4. Stott 5. Marsh 6. Cade 7. Sosa 8. And Garrett Stubbs is hitting 9th with Michael Lorenzen pitching. So, 2 huge problems with this lineup for me. Number one, why do I need to have 3 lefties in a row in the middle of my lineup? I mean, I know there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound, but I'm not a fan of that. I mean, Real Muto is another day off. All right. I mean, it was kind of inconvenient if they could take off on the same day that Trey Turner is on the paternity list. He's out because his wife's having a baby. I mean, for goodness sake. I mean, Stubbs going to play tomorrow. That's nice. Unless they think that they want Real Muto versus Waka tomorrow. I mean, there's Stubbs and Lorenzen have some chemistry. I don't know. My big problem is, one, with the 3 lefties in a row in the middle of the lineup, Scott, Marsh, and Cade. Cade's playing left field, by the way. I get back to this question, and I've asked Frank Post about this. I've asked Bob Wankel about it, and I understand their explanations, but I just don't accept it. I think it's they're explaining it, so they're doing a good job, but I don't like the explanation. Why not more Rojas? I mean, this guy Avila, he's not the greatest pitcher in the world. You're telling me that Rojas can't get some extra bats against this guy tonight? I understand he'll play with Walker tomorrow because Walker's an experienced guy. I don't. Um, Marsh could have played left. Rojas could have played center. He could have shuffled some guys around. Holm could have been second. It's just, these Lions drive me nuts. I'm talking about Park City and Storage. Rio Grande Avenue. So Railroad Avenue and Rio Grande. I think it's in the name right. So flustered by this Phillies Lions. Parks Moving and Storage is located on Railroad Avenue in Rio Grande. For your next move, call Parks Moving and Storage. All right. Got it on me. Back to the birds. 09403 0973. By the way, Diamondback Derek is back. For those who didn't hear, he was in Derek, look, my main show is starting at 6 o'clock. Monday through Friday. So I'm glad to have Diamondback Derek back. He became a mainstay when I was filling in for Mike Gill in the Sports Bash. He says, "Hey Josh, another great day of baseball. Can I say with the Phillies? It looks like they got their pitching together. They got Alvarado and Kimbrel taking turns closing. Both looked, pretty good last. I thought Kimbrel had some problem with the strike zone, but finally settled down. I think they're ready now. I hope that guest who texted you the other day was wrong, but the Phillies peaking too early. P.S. I'm not sold on Lorenzen." Diamondback fan Derek. But there are a couple things. One, I think there's a lot of people who are still not sold on Kimbrel. I think that it's the people who are not sold on Kimbrel are probably going to be the same people as the Eagles season progresses, that they're going to have some gripes about the Eagles safety situation. I think there's a group of people out there who look at Kimbrel and they say this guy, he's not consistent enough. Mike Gill on the Sports Bash brought up that he's had trouble with the strike zone at times. I think that if you break down Kimbrel's numbers, as I did last week, and you guys heard me here on 97.3 ESPN filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash, I was saying multiple times, you break down Kimbrel and Alvarado's numbers, and you realize that neither one of them is as rough as they've looked in an X number of starts. Like, you take out those specific starts, and you realize, that this team is actually all right with those guys. And I think that, as long as the Phillies, they can use this month to play around with the bullpen and the lineup. That's why the lineup situation maddens me so much tonight, because this is the time of year for you to get a little experimental. If you're willing to try out different pitching situations, try out different lineups. They don't have to be Jake Cave and Garrett Stubbs, for goodness sake. I hear you on Lorenzen, by the way, Derek. I think that Lorenzen, and I'm the first person to point this out, Lorenzen peaked basically with those first two starts for the Phillies. And I'm not saying he'll never be more than that, but if you look at Michael Lorenzen's season, maybe we don't go his entire career, but if you go for his entire season and you look at what he did before he came to the Phillies, I think that guy is more symbolic of who he is. 3.58 ERA. He's got a 2.33 batting average against. It's not horrible. It's not great. It's good. It's solid. 83 strikeouts and 105 and 2/3 innings. Those are stats that tell me it's a guy who's a solid, good pitcher, but he's not lights out. And I think that is where the Phillies are with him. And when you take out the two amazing starts that he had, his last three starts, he has struggled. So I think he's probably somewhere in between the guy that you've seen the last three starts, who was given up 13 earned runs in 15 innings, and the guy who had a 3.8 ERA for the first half of the season for the Tigers. I think he's somewhere in between that. That's why he's going to be pitching on the bullpen in the postseason. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. We'll talk more Eagles and Phillies coming up on Game Night tomorrow following Mike Gill in the Sports Bash. We're back. It's football season. Game Night is back in your life every night at 6 p.m. The Power Hour here on 97.3 ESPN. At Josh Hennig is where you find me on Twitter. Have a great night, everybody.
He was just texting his mom he'd be home soon. He never arrived. She just wanted to hand her a snack. She didn't see the stop sign. Their families wish they'd decided to just drive. Don't drive distracted. From the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety.